You're listening to The Fight Game with Tim McCain, and today I have the pleasure of interviewing Spencer Eugene Ruggeri from Bare Knuckle Fighting Champions. How you doing today, sir?
Not bad, man. How about yourself?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, when did your love for the fight game begin?
I started with martial arts from a very young age. So taekwondo, karate, different things like that. And then just kind of progressed. I went into obviously all kinds of different sports growing up. I played running back throughout my entire childhood and into adulthood. And it just kind of molded into a vision for combat sports and for that level of competition, because the reality is, like, even though you compete against yourself when you're on a team like that and it's nice, there's something to be said for individualized components that only combat sports really gives you. So I think that was what it was. It was that I get to focus on myself. I allow my creative ability and my creative vision to kind of give way, and there's a level of freedom to it that I enjoy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I looked through your Instagram, man. You have a different style about you that's so unique. I mean, you got the tattoos, you got the piercings, you rocking the knot. What led you to create your style, to be different, to be free and be different that way? Because a lot of people respect it and are drawn to it.
Yeah, yeah. It's that side of me. It's just always been there. And even though, again, to kind of go back to football in the younger days, it was a different time to where individuality, it would get shut down by coaches and by peers, to where is it a level of rebellion or is it a level of just individualism that I think allows people to flourish. Like, we've heard the sayings like look good, feel good, play good. Like, those things are fucking real. Those things are real. The dudes that are willing to just be themselves and not really give two fucking shits about what somebody else has to say, whether you like it or you're not. Like, if you can own yourself in the good, the bad, and the ugly, it allows you to operate with a level of freedom. So
Yes, sir.
that was it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I love how you said how mixed martial arts gave you a sense of individuality and that freedom to be able to be yourself. But what did the game of football teach you about yourself as a fighter and as a man? Because football also it provides that structure as well.
Right. Right. Um, Really, it taught me a level of work ethic and how much the individual side of things and the individualism really means to me as a man, and how it allows me to operate. Like, there's a lot of things that they come second nature that I just do naturally. So again, the team sport and that level of structure that you're alluding to, it did quite a bit, but what it really did was it made things very fucking clear of what it was that I wanted to do and who it is that I am and what I'm willing to take and what I'm not willing to take. So it's not that I'm not willing to sacrifice for a team. It's that I operate a lot better when it's just me versus me, and I can allow that creative side to flow.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And when did you make that choice to transition from football to the fight game, mixed martial arts, bare knuckle fighting?
I like mixed martial arts and I like boxing, but it's always, my vision has always been bare knuckle. It's always been bare knuckle. There's such a level of fertility, I guess, within the sport right now. Even though it's the oldest form of combat sports, there's so much strategy in MMA, and there's so much strategy in the sweet science. And the reality is you replace the sweet science with a piece of brutality when you take the gloves off, and you can't really hide. You can't really hide. And the same goes for MMA. They're incredible forms of competition, and they're in and of itself, it's a beautiful thing. But there's something to be said for bare knuckle, to where I've said it a couple of times on different interviews. Like, if we look at boxing, that check with the glove, the guard with the glove, even though it's a fucking beautiful thing, the Philly shell, like all of these different aspects to boxing, you take the gloves off and the Philly shell is not a thing.
Mm-hmm.
The check with the shoulder is not a thing. The check hook is not a fucking thing. So, and that guard, the hand goes right through the fucking guard. Now, as for MMA, like there's something to be said for the bare knuckle boxing's organization and how they laid it out. So where it's 2-minute rounds, five rounds, and it's made so you fucking butcher each other.
Mm-hmm.
There's no escaping. So you're not, as if we look at MMA, you're not going to be dragging somebody. If you're going against a striker, you're not relying on wrestling and tiring them out and then the foot stomps and all of this different shit. And then when things get into the later rounds, it's like, okay, now we can do what we need to do. Like you don't get afforded that opportunity. And if we look at boxing, you're not going to be feeling somebody out and flinching and doing all of these different little things that are taught. Like they're taught from a very fucking young age with boxing. And again, it's a beautiful game, a very beautiful game, but it's bare knuckles, very raw, and there's no hiding.
No hiding. I like your previous interview. I was reading up on you, and you were talking about how the throne for a bare knuckle champion is empty. Yeah. And one of the things you talked about it was I respect all these fighters, but I'm looking to be number one. That's how I'm paraphrasing you, but to me, I respected it, but it's almost like you were almost calling out everyone in your weight class. You're calling out everyone. So it seems to me like you're ready for the smoke. You're ready to take anybody. Anybody is in the wraps. I mean, when you made that statement, were you like, you know what, I'm just coming here and I'm just going to say, I'm taking the throne from all y'all. Is that what you were thinking when you made that statement?
Yes and no. I think, look, anyone that's willing to compete in combat sports, like we're not playing fucking tennis, you know? So I have respect for any man that's willing to get in there and put his life on the line. And I can't knock anybody in the fight game because look, they have the same dream and the same vision as me. What I intended with making that statement is, yeah, of course anybody can fucking get it. Of course I'm willing to fight whoever it is they put in front of me. But the real picture that I was looking to paint is like, this is a business. There's a lot of money to be made. And when I say the thrones are empty, it's not because these guys aren't putting themselves out there. It's not because there's not an effort. It's not up to them. They don't have it. They don't have the level of articulation. They don't have the face. They don't have the look. They don't have the style of movement. There's so many different contributing factors. There's so many branches on that tree. And those few things that I'm listing, like that's not up to a fighter. It's not up to a fighter. You either have that or you don't, and you can't be taught it. It's not something you can teach your fucking self. It's just there. It's just, and it should just flow off the tongue. It should fucking bleed from the center of your chest. And it's a feeling. It's a feeling. There's a reason. I said it a couple of times. There's a reason David and Nate feel the way they feel about me. There's a reason the people that come across me and they listen to me speak, there's a reason they feel that way. So what's going to happen is there's a lot of money to be made.
Yes, sir.
The truth is with BKFC, and it's going to become very, very apparent that it's an investment in this organization to pay me correctly.
I got you. So how long did it take for you to develop that mindset, that it factor? Did you always have it, or do you feel like you developed it and embraced it at a later age?
A bit of both. There's a molding process that you go through when you're willing to fillet yourself and to kind of give to the world and give to the fans and give to the people around you, good, bad, and ugly, and share yourself with whoever it is that wants to be a part of the journey, whether they like it or whether they don't. Like you just have to be willing to do that. Again, when you can walk that freely as a man, there's a weight lifted to where you don't feel like you need to be somebody else. I don't need to be somebody else for the media. I don't need to be somebody else for my woman, my family, my friends, the people I'm going to meet, the people that I have met. The list goes fucking on and on and on. But the truth is the fucking truth is the truth. So it kind of speaks for itself. And when you can walk that freely, it allows you to concentrate on what's important and what's right in front of you. I get to really look at things for what they are and not fucking worry about what it is I'm bringing to the table.
Well, you know what? The one thing that I believe that this generation really respects is authenticity, and I believe that's kind of what you're presenting. You're presenting real emotions. You're not like sugarcoating what you're feeling. What is your thoughts on like fighters just being authentic and being their real selves? Because before you might have to have dressed up or look a certain way or act a certain way, whereas in today's generation, it seems like they want athletes to be more of themselves, to be more authentic, someone like yourself.
Yeah. I think people get a little bit lost in that process. In the process of actually, like, it's one thing to say it and to like know that this generation wants it to be that way and it's respected, and like the promoters and different coaches and people in general really respect it and they like it, and everybody is their own individual brand. And that's on paper, that's fucking nice. It sounds good. But for the individual to actually do that, that's a real fucking process. And a lot of guys, it takes them their fucking whole career and they still can't do it.
Yeah.
Because they're either trying to be somebody else or trying to be something that they're not, or trying to say the right thing, the wrong thing to shake people around them. You don't force making money. You don't force making an impact. Like, those things come.
Yeah.
And they come when you can operate in the way that you're speaking on and I'm speaking on. So a lot easier said than done for people, especially when you have the light on you, when you're the product and you don't want to fuck things up, or you don't want to come off the wrong way, or just all that little shit. People they tangle themselves up.
Agreed. I do think people, they don't want to mess things up because it could affect their money. I mean, you have to do, and so there is this authenticity that people want the fighters to have. But then when you also speak the truth, potentially there is ramifications and for speaking out on certain things. So I totally agree with that statement. But one of the things that I want to get back to the fight game. One of the things that I found interesting about you was you actually don't like to watch your opponents fight. You don't like to watch film. You don't like to watch tape. Why is that? Why do you not want to necessarily study your opponent?
It goes back to bare knuckle being bare knuckle. It's not boxing. It's not MMA. There's no strategy. You can't run, you can't hide. So really what they do and how they fight or what they bring to the table doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter because I'm not having to worry about someone shooting for the fucking legs and wanting to drown me out and getting me fucking tired. You're not going to just feel me out for 6 rounds and then I'm going to gas and then you get to do your fucking thing. Like, it ain't there. So I don't really give a fuck what they bring to the table or their style of fighting. Like, it's me, it's my fucking movement, it's my ambidextrous shots, it's how I operate. And that's the only thing that matters. I get the shit beat out of me fucking year round in sparring. Year fucking round, but when it's time for war and it's time to go, in those moments, you either have that shit in you or you don't. Like, that bloodlust that you can switch on to where, like, look, I look in the mirror and my reflection fucking changes prior to about my pupils dilate. I start to hyperventilate. Like, there's this thing inside of me that, like, sparring's nice, training is nice, but there's that fucking little thing that you just can't deny. You can't deny it, and it comes out. It comes out, and not everybody has that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I remember I was interviewing a fighter, and he talked about how, like, one time he got a huge hit. It was a mixed martial arts fighter, and he got punched, and he was like, for a second he was like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? For a split second, he had to think, okay, do I continue to fight or do I quit? Do I tap? And he's like, within those few seconds, within a second, it feels like a few seconds, you have to decide whether or not you want to continue to fight. Have you ever experienced that as a fighter And is that what you were talking about earlier when you talked about how, you have to have that thing in you? So when you get hit with a certain hit, like how long can you have that second to think, or do you just have to react?
It at least as far as I operate, it's all reaction.
Hmm.
You live kind of in those seconds. Like there's not a lot of thought that goes on. There's not a lot of thought. It's when you're in there, this is my mind state to it. I'm competing with myself, but the reality is that those are my hunting grounds,
Hmm.
the way that I see it. Like it's not me versus somebody else and we're gonna put on a show. Like I'm hunting. Like I have fun. It's reflexes, it's movement, it's all these little things that they pinball between my fucking ears continuously. It's the thing that wakes me up at 4 a.m. and I sprint until I fucking cry. Like
Hmm.
it's those kind of things. So it just
Yes,
kind
sir.
of it is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So also one of the things that I found interesting was your training style. You said that like you have a different training style that's different than potentially others. And you've also how long have you been and you talked about your relationship with your trainer and how it's like a brotherhood. Just explain your relationship with your trainer, your weird movement, and also you talked about how you will continue to train with this trainer for years to come.
Yeah. It'll his face will be exposed to the world and he'll get to say his piece on the 19th, and I'm sure that there will be quite a bit of traction. And my hope and my wish is to afford him the opportunity to have a blank canvas, and we'll see what it is that he wants to do with his coaching. But my style of training has always there's I enjoy being elusive. I enjoy movement. I enjoy single shots. That's why I like it without the gloves. Like that level of impact, the backhand, the straight when you twist your hand from here to here and it splits the guard. Like there's all these little fucking things that it's just angles. It's just agility. It's reflexes. It's making somebody miss. It's seeing a level of fear in another man's eyes. Men show fear in very different ways.
Mm.
Every man shows fear in different ways. Some get angry, some throw harder shots, some they panic, some don't like to show it, some their fucking eyes drop and they sink into their fucking head and the fear sets in. There's a lot there. So when I say those are the hunting grounds, those are the things my coach and I look at. Is how it is I want to operate. Because I can sit here and I can say, okay, you can do the fucking thing where you like, oh, I'm gonna knock him out in the first round, or I'm gonna do this, but that's not the fucking truth. The truth is, we'll see how I fucking feel when I get in there. And however, when my coach says go, I would go. When he says take him off, I would take his head off. But I intend to have some fucking fun, and to display some movement and to give a show, because again, it's a business, and there's the fans in the arena, they need it as well as I do, and it's something that comes extremely natural. That weird level of movement, throwing the same shot with both hands, switching from southpaw to orthodox, a weird hop, a weird balance. I come from the karate background, taekwondo background, as I described earlier, and integrating all of those things.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Do you think that's one of the reasons why boxing hasn't been the same since the 90s? Because the style is hit and don't get hit. And sometimes in boxing, you don't see that same people trying to go out and all out wars until like maybe the fourth or fifth round, it seems like, in some of these fights. Do you believe one of the reasons why people are loving bare knuckle fighting championships is because you actually seeing fighters, they have to go all out. They have to go, they have to prepare for it differently than a boxer might.
Yeah. I think it goes back to the absence of strategy and the absence of a game plan, because again, with boxing and with MMA, those things are kind of afforded. There's a lot of time spent on the strategy and your opponent and how it is you want to operate and what you want to do with the minutes inside of the round, how you think they're going to respond to certain shit. And I think the reason that people feel the way they feel about bare knuckle is the same reason that I salivate when I look at it a couple of years back. Is because again, there's no hiding. There's no hiding. Like that piece of the sweet science is eradicated and replaced with a level of brutality to where there's no running. And that'll never not be the case with bare knuckle. Because it's a single shot that you get clipped the wrong way with a single shot and it's fucking game over. It's not boxing.
It's not boxing.
Not boxing. And we'll continue to see boxers shy away from it. They're not gonna like it. They're not gonna like it. Because when you grow up, like these dudes that are real level boxers, we're seeing Olympic level boxers get fucking tuned up bad in bare knuckle by amateur MMA fighters. And as a fighter, that ego has to be alive. So it's a fucking risk. If we see Teofimo or Lomachenko or somebody else and it's like, hey, take the gloves off. No, not a fucking chance in hell.
Wow.
Why? Because the ego. Because it's a big fucking risk.
How do you think Triple G or Manny Pacquiao would do in bare knuckle fighting?
That's the beautiful thing about bare knuckle is it's extremely every case is individual. Every case is very individual. It's not boxing. That's why every single person is very much a wild card. Like your record and the amount of time that you've been boxing for means fuck all. It means nothing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So what are your personal keys to success? Like, what are some of the things that you use to push yourself to greatness, to always have that warrior mindset? What are some of your personal keys to success, the things that pushes you to your greatness?
First thing that comes to my mind, man, is fuck greatness, dude. I don't give a fuck about greatness or any of that shit. I'm here for the money. My family needs to fucking eat. My dad needs to go into retirement. My girlfriend needs a fucking home. I intend to have kids, and that's that. I'm here for the money and the glory, and the rest I don't give a fuck about.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So you have a fight coming up March 19th against Diaz, bare knuckle fighting championships. Everybody make sure that you buy it. It's gonna be on their app, bare knuckle fighting championships apps. What are your predictions for your fight? How do you see the fight going?
I don't really have one. I know that I'm gonna put him away and that he'll feel it early and he's not gonna fucking like it. I also know that he shells up over fucking nothing and he's very jumpy. He's very, very jumpy and very, very panicked. And even though he hides it well, he has a lot riding on it. He has a lot of emotion there. So we'll see how I feel when I get in there and what I want to do. Because it's my hunting grounds, it's my blank canvas, and we'll see what the fuck I want to give to the people. Whether I clip them off of the fucking first second or we move a little bit and we paint a picture.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Where can the people find you on social media, Instagram, Facebook? Where can the people find you?
So I only operate with Instagram. It's Ulfedin_bare knuckle.
Yes,
or
sir.
You can look up Spencer Ruggeri.
Thank you very much, Spencer, for your time. Good luck to your fight. I see your opponent might need some good luck as well. From talking with you, he might need a little luck too. So, but hey, Spencer, appreciate your time.
Yeah. Thank you for having me on, man. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. Have a blessed day.
You too, man.